Hey folks, I'm Anand and welcome to MaverickEduCor, your one-stop solution for everything related to PTE. Make sure to contact us on the WhatsApp number or on the email ID mentioned right below. Let's go ahead and look at today's video. The main agenda of today's video is to look at the distribution of marks in all the 4 modules as per the new format of PTE academic exam. Additionally, we will see all the details question by question in this particular video. So stay tuned and let's go ahead with the video. Before moving on to the distribution of marks, first let's look at some FAQs so that you will get a broader perspective about what is changing from 7th of August 2025 onwards. First one, what are the list of integrated questions in the old format and in the new format? Earlier, you had about 11 integrated question types. Now you will have only 8 integrated question types. What are integrated tasks? Basically, it will give you marks for 2 of the modules. Say, for example, read aloud would give you marks for reading and speaking. So earlier you had 11 such integrated questions. Starting 7th of August 2025, these are the list of 8 integrated question types. Starting from repeat sentence, retell lectures, summarize group discussion, which is a new question that is being added, summarize written text, summarize spoken text, highlight correct summary, highlight incorrect word, write from dictation. So these are the list of 8 questions which are integrated question types. Now, what are they removing from the old format? Read aloud will not contribute marks anymore for your reading module. It will only contribute marks for your speaking module. Answer short question will only contribute marks for your listening. Reading and writing fill in the blanks, there is a major change. You will not get marks for writing. You will get marks only for your reading module. Last but not the least, you will have listening fill in the blanks, which will not give you marks for writing. It will give you marks only for your listening module. So these are the changes with regards to the integrated question types. Moving on to the next FAQ. Is there a change in the duration of the PTE exam with the addition of 2 new questions? Earlier, PTE had allocated about 54 to 67 minutes for speaking and writing module. Now PTE is allocating you approximately about 76 to 84 minutes for your speaking module and writing module with the addition of 2 new questions in the speaking module, summarize group discussion and respond to a situation. With the addition of time, now you will have approximately about 2 hours and 30 minutes to complete your entire PTE exam compared to your old format where it was 2 hours and 10 minutes. Your addition of approximately 20 minutes of time is being added in the speaking module. Reading and listening module will remain as it is. Moving on to the next FAQ. Is there a change in the English language requirements for your visa type? There seems to be a change. Earlier, DHA Australia, that is Department of Home Affairs Australia, had fixed scores for each module of the PTE exam. Now, the DHA Australia has varied scores for each module of the PTE exam. Before I show you the scores as per the categories, I would want you to contact your immigration expert or immigration lawyer for more information on points. We are not the experts, they are. Now let's go ahead and look into the categories. Mainly, I will be showing only 2 categories. First, let's start with proficient English. From 7th of August, you would have to get 76 in speaking, 69 in writing, 59 in reading module and 58 marks in your listening module, especially for proficient English. Moving on to superior English. Now you would need to get about 88 marks for speaking, 85 marks for writing, 70 in your reading module and 69 marks in your listening module. Earlier it was 79 plus for 20 points. Now it would be these set of scores. So be aware of all this and please discuss with your immigration expert for more information. Going forward in this video, we will be looking into each and every individual question and look into the weightage as well. starting with read aloud. So you will have up to 6 to 7 questions, and PTE will measure your content, pronunciation and oral fluency. Earlier, read aloud was an integrated task. It used to give marks for your speaking and reading. Going forward, it will not give you marks for reading module at all. And they have drastically decreased the amount of marks that you would be getting in read aloud. So it will not be a very important question, because they are giving approximately about 9.4% for your speaking module, and that converts to about 8 to 9 marks only for your read aloud question. Moving on to repeat sentence question. It will still remain an integrated task. You will get about 10 to 12 questions. The skill based marks will be still measured the same way. Coming to the module weightage, there is a slight change from the previous or the old format. Speaking, you will approximately get 15.6%, listening 16.7%. These will tally up to 14 to 15 marks for your speaking module and 15 to 16 marks for your listening module. It will still remain one of the important questions in your exam. Coming to describe image. So you will get about 5 to 6 questions. The number of questions has been increased from 3 to 4. The content marks has also been increased by 1 mark. So you will get 6 marks for content, 5 for pronunciation, 5 for oral fluency. This hasn't changed. Coming to the module weightage. For speaking, you will approximately get about 31.3%. That will tally up to 28 to 30 marks. A huge bump in marks. So describe image will become one of the important questions in your speaking module. Earlier, it was read aloud and repeat sentence. Going forward, it will be repeat sentence and describe image. Are there any more questions that is important in your speaking module? You will get to know more details in this video. So stay tuned. Now let's discuss retail lecture question. Here, the number of questions also has been increased from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3, and content also there is an increase by 1 mark, and pronunciation and oral fluency remains the same. Coming to the weightage, this hasn't changed drastically. For speaking, you will get approximately about 12.5% and listening about 13.3%. This will approximately tally about 11 to 12 marks for speaking and another 11 to 12 marks for your listening module. This is also an integrated task. The next question is answer short question. There is a small change over here. You will get 5 to 6 questions like before, 1 mark for vocabulary only, and listening approximately about 4.2%, which will give you marks about 4 to 5 marks for your listening module. Earlier, it was allocating marks for speaking. Now it will give only marks for your listening module. Moving on to the next question in your speaking module. Summarize group discussion, the new question added by PTE. Now you will get approximately about 2 to 3 questions, and skill based marks would be 6 marks for content, 5 marks for oral fluency and 5 marks for pronunciation. Module weightage wise, you will get approximately about 18.8% of speaking and 20% for your listening module, which will tally up to 17 to 18 marks for your speaking module and 18 to 19 marks for your listening module. This is also an integrated question, and it will be one of the important questions too in your exam. Moving on to the next new question added in the speaking module. Respond to a situation. Here you will get 2 to 3 questions, just like summarize group discussion, and you will get 6 marks for content, 5 for pronunciation and 5 marks for fluency. The module weightage will remain approximately about 12.5% for your speaking module only. It is not an integrated task. Hence, it will tally up to 11 to 12 marks for your speaking module. Until now, you had looked at all the questions of the speaking module. Now, let's look at the writing module. The first question is summarize written text. Here you will have two questions for sure. Earlier it was one or two questions. Now you will have two questions compulsorily. The marks for skill based has slightly changed. For form you will get 1, content has been increased to 4, grammar and vocabulary will still remain at 2 marks. Coming to the weightage for each module. For writing you will get approximately about 27.7%, and for reading it is 22.5%. There is a drastic change over here, which will tally up to 25 to 26 marks for your writing and 20 to 21 marks for your reading module, which is a very drastic change. Hence, this will become one of the important questions of your writing module and reading module too. Moving to writing an essay, which is part of your writing module. Here you will get one question for sure. Earlier it was one or two questions. Now you will get just one question. Skill-based marks has changed drastically. Content they will allot you 6 marks, form 2 marks, development structure and coherence 6 marks, grammar 2 marks, general linguistic range 6 marks, vocabulary and spelling is capped at 2 marks. So what is the module weightage? It will be approximately 30.8%, which will tally up to 27 to 28 marks alone for your writing module. So this question will also be very important for your writing module. Coming to reading module. First question that you would get is reading and writing fill in the blanks. No. It would be drop down fill in the blanks. The name has changed. Here you will get approximately about 5 to 6 questions, and the skill based marks is binary, either a correct answer 1 mark or incorrect answer 0 marks. That hasn't changed, but there is a change in the module weightage. Earlier you would get marks for writing and reading. Now you will get only for your reading module, which is 27.5%, and it will tally up to 24 to 26 marks alone for your reading module. This still remains one of the important questions in your reading module and in the exam too. Moving on to the next question of your reading module, multiple choice, multiple answers. All of a sudden this question is become a little important because you will get about 2 to 3 questions, not 1 to 2 questions. The skill based criteria still remains the same, but the weightage has been increased up to 5%. It will give you approximately about 4 to 5 marks. Now, I don't think you can simply ignore this particular question. Moving on to reorder paragraphs in the reading module. Here there is a very slight change. You will be still getting 2 to 3 questions and the skill based marks hasn't changed. The module weightage has slightly changed. You will get approximately about 8.8% for your reading module alone, which will translate up to 8 to 9 marks for your reorder paragraph question. Moving forward to fill in the blanks, drag and drop. The name has changed from reading fill in the blanks to drag and drop fill in the blanks. Here the number of questions still remain the same. The skill based marks also remain the same, whereas the module weightage is 18.8% and it will tally up to 17 to 18 marks for your reading module in this particular question. Coming to the last question of the reading module, multiple choice, single answer. The number of questions has been increased. Now you will get 2 to 3 questions. Earlier it was just 1 to 2 questions. The skill based criteria hasn't changed. The module weightage remains at 2.5%, which will approximately translate to 2 to 3 marks for your reading module. Moving on to the last module of your PTE exam, listening module. Let's discuss the first question. Summarize spoken text. This is an integrated task, and going forward, it will be one of the important questions for your writing module. Reason being, you'll just get one question, and they have changed the skill-based marks as well. They have increased the marks for your content, whereas form, grammar, vocabulary, and spelling are still capped at 2 marks. Module weightage will be 10% for your listening and 18.5% for your writing module, which will translate up to 9 to 10 marks for your listening and 17 to 18 marks for your writing module. More marks for your writing module and less marks for your listening. Earlier it was almost equal. So this is why I was telling you it will be one of the important questions for your writing module. Next is multiple choice, multiple answers in your listening module. You will get approximately 2 to 3 questions. This has been increased from 1 to 2, and the skill-based criteria still remains the same. Module weightage will be approximately at 3.3%, which will tally up to 3 to 4 marks for your listening module only. Moving on to the next question, type in fill in the blanks. Earlier it was called listening fill in the blanks. Hence it was giving you marks for listening and writing. Now it will just give you marks for your listening module. Now also you will still get 2 to 3 questions and the skill based criteria hasn't changed, whereas the module weightage has changed because it will be giving marks for your listening module only. It will give you 7.5%, which will approximately translate up to 6 to 7 marks for your listening module only. Moving on to highlight correct summary. Here the number of questions has been increased to 2 to 3. Earlier you would get 1 to 2 questions. The skill based criteria hasn't changed. Module weightage wise, slight change. Listening you will get 1.7% and reading 2.5%, which will tally up to 1 to 2 marks for your listening and 2 to 3 marks for your reading module. Next question is multiple choice single answer. Here also they have increased the number of questions from 1 to 2 questions. Now you will get 2 to 3 questions. Skill based criteria hasn't changed. Module weightage would be approximately about 1.7%, which will translate up to 2 to 3 marks for your listening module only. The next question after multiple choice single answer would be select missing word. A not so important question. They haven't changed anything here. It would be 1 to 2 questions. The skill based criteria would still remain the same. The module weightage would be approximately 0.8% for your listening module, which will give you 1 to 2 marks for your listening module alone. Coming to highlight incorrect words, which is the last but one question of your PTE exam. Here you will still get 2 to 3 questions. The skill based marks hasn't changed. Module weightage wise, you will get 8.3% for your listening module and 12.5% for your reading module. It requires fast reading skills. Hence, you will approximately get 7 to 8 marks for your listening module and 11 to 12 marks for your reading module. This is an integrated task. So remember, it is a very easy question to grab easy marks in this particular question. Now let's look at the last question of the PTE exam, write from dictation. Here the number of questions still remain up to 3 to 4 questions. The skill based criteria hasn't changed. Module weightage wise there is a change. Listening you will get up to 12.5%, whereas writing module you may get up to 23.1%, which will tally about 11 to 12 marks for your listening module and writing module 21 to 22 marks. This has changed drastically and it will still remain one of the important question because it is an integrated question type 2. So make sure to answer all of the 3 to 4 questions that you would get in the exam. Missing one question will also cost you dearly in respect to marks. Until now, you had seen each of the individual questions and the marks distribution. Now, let's go ahead and see what are the top scoring questions for each of the module, starting with speaking module. Earlier, you had two questions which were important, read aloud and repeat sentence. Now, you will have three questions. Which are those three questions? Summarize group discussion, repeat sentence and describe image. This is based on the allocation of marks and the weightage of marks fixed by PTE for the speaking module. Moving on to the top scoring question in the writing module. Earlier you had just two questions. Now you will have four questions. All the four are important for your writing module. Now, essay writing, summarize written text, write from dictation and summarize spoken text. This is in the same order as per the weightage and the marks allocated by PTE. Let's move to reading module. Earlier you had three questions that were important. I would say reading and writing fill in the blanks was one of the topmost priority, followed by read aloud, especially in your reading module. Things have changed drastically over here. Now there are four important questions. The first question would be drop down fill in the blanks, which still remains one of the important questions. Summarize written text is a new addition to reading module where you will get good amount of marks, followed by drag and drop fill in the blanks, and the fourth one would be highlight incorrect words. This is a very easy question where you can grab easy marks. Moving on to listening module. Earlier you had just three important questions. Now you will get about 4 to 5 important questions in your listening module. To begin with, in the new format, summarize group discussion is a new question that is being added. It will be one of the topmost prioritized question in your listening module, followed by repeat sentence and write from dictation. There is a drastic change here. Earlier, repeat sentence and write from dictations were one of the topmost questions of your listening module. That has been dethroned by summarize group discussion and followed by summarize spoken text and retell lecture. They are very closely related marks, hence I've put it in the last place. That is why I'm telling 4 to 5 questions. With this, I would want to conclude by saying that now PTE has distributed marks evenly in each of the module. Earlier, as you had seen, there were just 1 or 2 questions that were very important for each of the module. Now you have about 3 to 4 important questions for each of the modules. So I would advise you to prepare thoroughly before going to the exam. And I wish you all the very best for your exams.